at Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They're not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps as well, I reckon, no?
We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Core clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Core. They go over the hill and Povey's around. Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, and it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Finish. I think Dennis Melchett has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's a great boring car championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Potts coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Brayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12.
There's contact again.
Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.
Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship, a series that takes the light-hearted nature of touring car racing and takes a look back at the good old days of the British Touring Car Championship with some legendary liveries of the Super Touring era on the Volkswagen Jetta TDI diesel, an absolute heartthrob of the iRacing service. A car that genuinely raced in the real world between 2008 and 2010, I believe, over in the SCCA series in America. And we have a lot of fun with it here in the British Boring Car Championship. This will be its final season, though. I want to focus on other series and other events, and we've had 3 fantastic series so far and amazing seasons along the way. It's certainly been a fantastic championship to organise and loads of fun to do since the very get-go of it, all the way back in 2020 as well. What I did want to do before I lost track of where they were was actually have a look at the previous points because of the sort of standings that we had leading up to the end of last season. I just can't get them to load up for some reason. Here we go. So this is how it finished last time. Henry Morse is reigning champion, but he is not here this season. I tell you who are, though, and that is Team Jane Fonda. Stephen Burns and Kyle Ridley are teaming up once again to hold their team's title honours. Nodaphone, Bailiff and Van Olst are also teamed up as well. We have Jake Cranstone with us again this season. Let's not forget, he was the privateer champion in season 3 in the Mediocre Cup for Independence. and he finished runner-up in the overall championship standings, so it's going to be an exciting one there. The previous sponsors there at the bottom of the screen and our new sponsors on board for this season. But I'm delighted to say that joining me in the commentary box once again is the wonderful Ed May. Ed, how are you doing, and what do you reckon with the championship that we have ahead of us here?
Yes, hi Chaz, great to be here. Great to be back, of course, with the Jettas on our screens. Yeah, looking forward to it. I remember some of the races from last season were incredibly close, and I'm hoping we'll have more of the same here tonight. Obviously, we've got the boring cars. They have never disappointed us, have they, Chaz?
Not one bit. We have cars leaving the pit lane now for the very first time this season. It's a 15-minute qualifying session, but it's an open session. However, due to the fact that we are using iRacing's heat racing format system, it will basically end as soon as the clock hits 0. So as soon as those drivers are, well, they don't get chance to cross the line and complete the lap that they're on, basically. As soon as it hits 0, they are done, and the session is over. We've got a lot of drivers and names to look at for this season, but I also wanted to introduce our sponsors for this season as well. As you can see in the top right, Abruzzi, one of the championship sponsors for this season. Joining them, Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Drew Fletcher has been a big supporter of mine and the previous series that we've broadcast here on Chaz Draycott Media. And joining them also is Orris Digital. Flipping, I can never get it right, and I'm so sorry, Heinz Mayer, I still cannot get it right to this day. But thank you very much to them for the support, and we look forward to another very entertaining season with them. Let's look at some teams then, shall we? I mean, Team Jane Fonda, reigning teams champions in the Honda liveries, Kyle Ridley and Stephen Burns, cars 3 and 8. Anyone that competed last time basically wears the number that they finished in the championship. It is mandatory to do so. The second team in the teams championship that was giving them a solid old run for their money was actually Team Netcode, but unfortunately this season just one car for them, Ben Bennyworth, behind the wheel of that machine. There was not another one drawn in the random team draw just last week. We also have the Nodaphone boys, Sam Van Alsten, his teammate John Bailiff, hoping to get right up there as well. They were third in the team's championship last time out. We've got an Ericsson Hitters car in the form of Patrick Dopart, another one where there's only one. We've got the Might Just Fit Vauxhalls of Duncan Murray and his teammate. Where on earth is his teammate, actually?
Jake Cranstone.
Jake Cranstone, it is, yeah. Sorry, I lost him for a second there. I will explain to people as well that the car numbers that you can see on the doors and the numbers on the overlay will be slightly different for a few of them. Ferran Grau, who joins us tonight as an independent in the championship, should be number 22, but for some reason he's loaded in as number 2. So that has then knocked Jake Cranstone's number out. He's taken number 5. Number 5 should have been Patrick Dopart's number, so he's now taken number 9, but the numbers on the doors don't change. Foxy's back with us. He's been with us since day one as Andy. He's in Team Bordeaux, teamed up with Aaron Smith as well. We've both commentated on Aaron in a lot of different cars, Ed. I didn't think we'd see him in a Jetta.
No, I'm trying to... What of the many things we've seen him in? Did we see him in LMP2 way back with the Apex Technologies? For some reason that rings a bell. I'm not sure why.
I think he was in that somewhere. Yeah, I think he was teamed up with somebody, but he's been in the Speedway Super League that we've done. We did the old Vertex Stock Car Cup as well. Aaron Smith used to race in that. He's raced in everything, including even the CDM Formula 1 World Championship as well. So it's going to be nice and close. What else haven't we looked at? Team Red Ring, the Audi. Jack Wells, old teammate of mine at Beast Racing in the very shiny Audi. Taylor Adams recently became Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge champion. He's in one of the independent machines based on Mark Blair's old Vectra. He's got JB Masida joining him. You'll notice they do have different windscreen banners. That's what we tend to do for all of the cars in this series. Who else haven't we looked at? Oh, Dodgy MOT. Now, bit of a story behind this team here. Stuart Clark and Donny Alpha Henriksen driving those cars this season. Stuart was a privateer last time out. Donny Alpha Henriksen making his debut in the championship for this season. But unfortunately, the Dodgy MOT team have finished last in the teams championship for the last 2 seasons. So they're going to be hoping to flip things around. You'll see next to some of the cars on the left-hand side that they have a little blue strip next to their name. That is because they are independent cars. They used to be an independence championship. It was called the Michelin Cup for Independence back in the late 90s. We're calling it the Mediocre Cup for Independence. as the overlay likes to reload. Morgan Burkhardt has gone fastest. Now Sam van Olst displaces him. Morgan Burkhardt, real-life racing driver as well, has been tipped to be one of the favourites for this championship this season. But if anything, Ed, I mean, you can see it now. Look, JB Masida goes quickest as well. He's the longest-serving iRacing member I think I've ever seen as well. His iRacing ID starts with 3-5, and it's only 5 digits. Sorry. So certainly one to watch. But God, it's close already.
Yes, it is certainly less than a tenth of a second separating Sam van Olst and JB Masida. Frenchman going well so far. Love the sound of the Jettas on board. You can actually hear the engine notes when you go on the outboard shots. All you can really hear is just the squealing of the tyres roaring against the road surface. Listen to them through here.
It's like paper cups on a table. Isn't it? But what a great looking car. What an absolute, like I called it a heartthrob earlier. I was not joking. It really is one of the unique cars in sim racing is the Jetta. It's a very old model, so the shadows and the polygons aren't fantastic. The damaged model isn't the best, but you know, that's why we're breathing more and more life into it all the time here in the CDM British Boring Car Championship, because it generates such amazing racing, doesn't it, as Dopart goes fastest.
Yeah, Dopart currently fastest in the Ericsson Hitus Jetta. He's by the wonderful Volvos. Kyle Ridley jumping up into 6th position. And the Jane Fonda's working for him quite well, with him and Stephen Burns teaming up yet again.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do in the Teams Championship. I'm excited to see what this man can do, Taylor Adams. He's always fast and he's always near the front in everything we put him in. He was doing really well in the Formula One World Championship. He nearly won the GT4 Challenge twice and then ended up winning it in Season 6 in its finale. Can he do something here? He's currently 10th fastest at the moment. We've seen Eric Manintveld in the GT4s as well. But the independents are scored separately, so there's only a small field of them. I believe there's only 7 of them total. 2 of them not here tonight. And funnily enough, actually, both of the independents that aren't here tonight are drivers that drive the exact same livery, which is unfortunate because it's a silver gradient to black that used to be the Arena Motorsports Renault Laguna that was back in the championship way back when. But the independents, as I was saying, privately scored, and they have a smaller point scoring system, so their championship will be even closer. So even if JB Masida, for example, finished 3rd overall, he'll get a score for the overall championship, but say Taylor Adams was 2nd in the independents all the way down in 10th, he'd only lose 2 points to him in that independents championship. It is mighty, mighty tricky for them. So I'm intrigued to see what that comes out as. It should be fun to try and keep an eye on this season, Ed.
Yeah, we've got so many things to keep an eye on, don't we, Chaz? Really, all the way for the remainder of the season. I think tonight we just have to focus on obviously what a spectacle it is to have these Jettas back up on our screens. Great as well to see, you know, the teammates somewhat working together, aren't they? Taylor Adams, so both as independents.
Yeah.
Working together.
Oh, never mind. He's pinned that one off. 2 more that aren't working together are these boys. Although, are they? No, nearly. Donny Alpha Henriksen and Stuart Clark right together in the 2 dodgy MOTs. Duncan Murray there just diving off to the right-hand side to stay a little bit clear. But he manages to sort it out. Patrick Dopart fastest is off the road at the moment, just getting in the way of Stephen Burns a little bit. Stephen has to settle and sit behind. They know that it's important to get qualifying laps on the board here, because at the end of the day, the racing itself is so close that they've got this sort of urgency to make sure they do it before that timer goes to 0 as well.
Obviously, yeah, you mentioned earlier when the session clocks over to 0, that is it. Again, this circuit, Donington Park, it's easy to run wide, isn't it? Run off the road, just because you're having to carry so much speed through all of these corners. There's only one, I guess, real sort of slow area of the circuit, but even then you're not necessarily that heavy onto the brakes. It's more just about, I guess, the momentum, which is what you need in these Jettas. It hasn't got the most horsepower in the world, so it's just trying to carry the speed through the corners all the way in and out.
It's fantastic to ride on board. We'll stay here with Ben Bennyworth It's currently down in 15th position, but one of the sort of laws of this car is that if it's not turning in enough or it's not rotating enough in the corner, just put more lock on and it'll be fine. This is the proper, true takeaway delivery driver simulator right here. This is Ben Bennyworth trying to get there before things go cold, down towards the old hairpin. One thing you will notice is that the rear, it tries to step out before anything else, but then the front, if it doesn't grip, the understeer is absolutely horrific. You'll see the guys putting on as little steering input as possible to smoothly manage all the momentum these cars have got. The whole field is only just separated by over a second right now, which is great to see. The top three, less than a tenth of a second. It's Dopart, Van Olst and Burkhardt at the moment. A lot of these guys used to race in the Racing Line Jetta Cup by Jack Johns, by the Racing Line, as Morgan Burkhardt goes even quicker now at the top. He's now over a tenth clear with a 1:19.068. Let's go back on board with Ben actually, just to see this chicane once more. Really throwing it. The car hops around a lot, doesn't it, Ed? It's like the suspension isn't on springs. It's like rubber blocks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it can ride them. It doesn't necessarily seem to spit them off too harsh, but yeah, it is. They're pretty stiff, but they can still ride the curves quite nicely. 4 minutes 20 seconds to go. Morgan Burkhardt leading the way, 10th of a second over Patrick Dopart. Patrick as well, another driver that I think is going to be one in contentions for the championship this season.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and really just attacking the corners. Definitely, like you're mentioning, putting all of the lock on to get that car to turn. And my word, is it turning for him.
It really is. It's great to see it. I was watching back previous seasons while I was in America just to catch up on what had happened before, because so much happens in a boring car season. It's hard to truly keep up. You know, there's so many different race winners, so many different results that come out of the ether that you never really remember all of it. And some of the early season performances by what would eventually be the champions, other than Dennis Melcher, I mean, my brother won season 2. He was privateer champion or independent champion in season 1. He went on to win the drivers and teams championship in season 2. And then Henry Morse also, who won season 3 of the championship. You know, he didn't make any sort of over-the-top results or any sort of crazy victories that would let you know it was, you know, a championship in the making until much later down the line. So I really don't think that this first race meeting is going to be much of an indication, but a lot of the guys have pointed to Morgan Burkhardt to be the guy to win it. They have said an independent will be champion this year, and I think that is definitely pointing at Morgan. But to be honest, JP Masida, he's absolutely flying as well as an independent. I did consider the fact that there are some cars from the, let's call them, main teams missing, and give some of the faster independents the opportunity to hop up into those teams. It may be still something that's on the cards, but I cannot confirm or deny it yet, so we'll have to see whether that comes about. But I think that may be a little bit interesting. Still, excited to see what comes of the British Boring Car Championship now. Just hoping to see some of these drivers really push it into these final moments. Ferran Grau here doing what he can do in the Matt Neal liveried machine, currently in 8th position. He was right down at the bottom of the practice session, but since then he's been pushing on and on to improve. The drivers that we don't have here tonight, just looking at the current entry list that we have at the moment, I do not see Naveed Hussein is not here. He's had an issue with his headset. Naveed in the Arena Motorsports machine, one of the independents. Same as Japanese driver Togo Hisada. Togo signed up letting us know that he wouldn't be able to make the first few rounds. It was on the agreement that, you know, if the grid gets completely full, then, you know, we'd need to sort of sacrifice his spot for somebody else jumping in. But no, he's in fully, but just not able to make the first few rounds, unfortunately. And the other one as well, James Holman. James is away at the moment, but James, another real-world racing driver, driving for Team Red Ring alongside Jack Wells in car number 82. So it's going to be an exciting one to see how the teams go, I think. I reckon that Nodaphone, Team Jane Fonda, especially might just fit as well with Jake Cranstone in the mix, and Duncan Marai, both of them very fast. I think it's going to be between those three squads to begin with. What do you reckon?
I think you're probably right. I do have to say that you mentioned might just fit with Jake Cranstone, and we'll see what Duncan can do. Could could be a very formidable team, but as well, you cannot discount Jane Fonda, Carl Ridley, Stephen Burns. I mean, they've already proven themselves. They're a proven package, really, aren't they? So, see what they can do now over the line. These are going to be the last couple of laps for, well, not only Jake Cranstone, but also Duncan Murray. Taylor Adams jumps way up the order, though, into second place, onto the front row, just pipping ahead of Patrick Dopart. Ben Bennyworth comes over the line for 13th place, and I don't think we've got any other drivers looking to complete a lap. Maybe Donny Alpha Henriksen, as he's just about going to make it.
He does.
Over the line, but no improvement. Stays 16th.
Does indeed, and that's it then. That is the first qualifying session of Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship completed. Thanks once again to Championship sponsors Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. We are very grateful to have you on board for this final season of this wonderful, wonderful event. So Morgan Burkhardt takes pole position then with Taylor Adams alongside him. 2 independents on the front row. They're certainly going to be getting letters in the post. Patrick Dopart and Sam Van Olst next up on row 2. 2 big hitters from last season. JB Masida, great start for him. He's 5th on the grid with Kyle Ridley alongside him. Jake Cranstone next with John Bailiff in 8th. Followed by Duncan Marai and Ferran Grau completing the top 10. Then it's Stephen Burns and Jack Wells on the 6th row, ahead of Ben Bennyworth and Andy Fox. Eric Manintveld and Donny Alpha Henriksen are next up, making a tongue-twisting row 8, with Aaron Smith alongside Stuart Clark on row 9. So you can hear it's nice and quiet. It won't get any louder when the racing starts. But the grid is a standing start, and this man, Morgan Burkhardt, pole position. Bit of pressure on him now here, Ed, because we all know he's rapid in these cars, but it's not easy to get away in the British Boring Car Championship, and these guys know their way around these cars. It's certainly going to be a close one.
Yes, I think that's going to be the key to this circuit, is just about managing it from the word go. Obviously, Morgan Burkhardt will not be having it his own way by any stretch of the imagination. Taylor Adams, Patrick Dopart in behind as well. I'm excited for Patrick, actually. I want to see what he can do. Sam Van Olst as well with Nodaphone. I think the second row is looking like it's going to be a pretty feisty one.
No connection at the moment from Taylor Adams. He should be there on the front row. He's only got about 15 seconds there. He is now. He's just popped in. And before you know it then, round number 1 of the 2025 Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship from Donington Park gets underway, and there's tyre smoke absolutely everywhere. Looks like a good start for the front row. I think Patrick Dopart's got a decent getaway though, better than Taylor Adams. Morgan Burkhardt all the way over to the left-hand side now. Everyone's going to try and keep it nice and tidy in the middle. JB Masida running a little bit wide into Sam Van Olst. Lovely tidy start by everyone. Looks like Eric Manintveld off the road slightly there, a bit further down the order. Staying side by side here, John Bailiff and I believe that's Kyle Ridley, isn't it? Jake Cranstone's just in front of them in the effective Vauxhall. And right now, Ferran Grau finds himself side by side with Stephen Burns. The two of them nearly leaning on each other, but that's a mega tidy start. Look at that down the inside. Jack Wells, thank you very much, he says, in the Audi. Squeezes through Bennyworth and Manintveld, 2 of the longest names in the series. Certainly not wide enough for them on the windscreen banners, let alone wide enough on the circuit. Great first lap so far, though, Ed. Nice and tidy.
Yes, which is what we want to see more of that for the rest of the season, please, as it's side by side there from Sam Van Olst all the way around the outside on John Bailiff.
Fantastic stuff.
Here we go, the 2 Nodaphone cars going to try a little bit of bump drafting, maybe in towards the chicane. Oh, yeah, smart move there to back out of it, but didn't quite communicate that to his teammate. Sam Van Olst nearly getting rear-ended by John Bailiff, but they managed to sort themselves out roughly, just about. Further back, it's chopping and changing, and Eric Manintveld has managed to retake 15th place. But I mean, look at this gaggle of cars, 2 by 2 in towards turn 1 they go. Jake Cranstone's now getting a little bit antsy. Good start actually from Jake, up 2 places. Sam Van Olst, meanwhile, as we were just seeing, going backwards, unfortunately.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start for Kyle Ridley and Sam Van Olst, both 2 places lost each. Patrick Dopart's made his way up into second place. Both the dodgy MOT cars there picking a fight with Eric Manintveld. They've got Aaron Smith just behind them. It's not often we see Aaron Smith at that end of a timing table. Morgan Burkhardt's held on to this lead, though. It seems like the one that wants to make the move is Jake Cranstone here, trying to get past JB Masida, but JB's not giving Jake anything at all. Jake was runner-up last season, and he's not going to take no for an answer here, I can tell you that. He wants to fight, but look at how little Morgan Burkhardt can break away here. He's the highest I rating in the group by some margin. There's only one driver that's 5,000 I rating, and that's the guy right in front of us here, JB Masida. Morgan Burkhardt is over 7,000 I rating. Actually, sorry, Jack Wells is 5.4k as well. We've got a lot of very talented drivers here. I think the lowest I rating in the field is actually 2,500, so it's a really high strength of field when you think about it.
Very, very high indeed. It's, I guess, a sign of how competitive it is in the, the boring cars. I want to keep saying Formula One.
I know, I'm too used to it as well, yeah.
I'm so used to it as well. In boring cars, it's always just so tight, so close. We can never really predict who's going to win from one race to the next. Look at this train now starting to form, trying to break away a little bit from John Bailiff in behind, aren't they? Sam Van Olst, but really wanted to hang back to help his teammate out. He wants that race victory.
Yeah, absolutely. If we just look at the classes, you can see, oh, excuse me, sorry, it didn't split them up there. Oh, there's the move from Jake Cranstone, side by side now with JB Masida, and I think Sam Van Olst knows that he wants to push him ahead. He wants Jake to get past JB right now. The Frenchman not quite holding on. Jake's on that inside line, but the thing is, with such little power, it's really, really hard to get them to work together. Let's just see if we can get this to work, shall we? No, it's not working. Okay, so we are not getting them displayed in class. It's fine. Sam Van Olst, a skop, hip and a hump. No, hop, skip and a jump down the inside. Let's have a look here. There you go. You can see, look, that is the grouping for the independents at the bottom. It doesn't really tell you anything, does it? Shut up, Chaz. Let's just watch the race as JB Masida throws it back up the inside of Sam Van Olst. A big send into turn one, and our first bit of contact of the season that's noteworthy. Anyway, John Bailiff has to dive out of the way. JB won't want to take that place from Sam Van Olst like that. Kyle Ridley will want to take any place he can. Let's go on board with the Team Jane Fonda car as he has a look here, chasing the team that put them under so much pressure back in season 3 as Bailiff tries to carry the speed. Kyle gives JB a push, but both of the Vodafone cars now past Masida, and also another bump from behind as well as through goes Ferren Grau round Duncan Murray. Stephen Burns in on this as well. This is the sort of racing we've come for, Ed.
This is what we want. This is what we love about these boring cars. You can see now Stephen Burns just losing out there as Duncan Murray finds that little bit of space around the outside, can try and carry that momentum through, but the inside line now works for Stephen as they fight side by side all the way through now on this back straight. Morgan Burkhardt, was he getting a little bit of a bump draft from Patrick Dopart? Are the two of them maybe working together a little bit?
I think so. 4 different cars in the top 4 here. Sam Van Olst is going to want to push behind these guys now and close in. We've got this 20-minute sprint race. There is then a 10-minute break before a 25-minute feature. The top 10 in this race will be reversed on the grid as well, and the points are the same for both races, so it's very savage. You need to really have your wits about you to get back through with those extra 5 minutes, but it's so close up and down this order. Whole field at the moment separated by just 9 seconds, and all the way down to 12th place is only separated by 5. It's absolutely nuts. Look at them.
This is the kind of pack battling we see all the time in these Jettas, and we're currently on board with Jack Wells.
However,
red ring cars, but further up, I think we want to watch this, isn't it? John Bailiff, he's got great view of Kyle Ridley and JB Masida.
Yeah, JB, he's under massive pressure here, isn't he, Ed? He's been chased down from the very get-go. He's constantly had to look in his rear-view mirror, and this is no exception right now either. He's still in that situation. You get points all the way down to 15th position, though, so points quite generous. I'm not sure why the overlay is reloading all the time on the left like that, everyone. I'm so sorry, but I've tried reloading it manually myself to stop it doing that, and I really don't know why it is doing so. All I can do is apologise for that.
There we currently see, though, that you mentioned JB Masida, he had to be very defensive, and now Morgan Burkhardt, he's dropping all the way down the order from the lead of the race. What's happened here?
Did he maybe get a slowdown penalty, do you think, out of the chicane? Let's see here from Patrick Dopart. Oh, yeah. That would have been a slowdown penalty for Morgan, and yeah, he moves over to the left, makes it clear, taps the brakes, lets the guys go, and Patrick Dopart now leads this race in the Ericsson Hitters car. Then it's Might Just Fit, then it's Independent, Sam Van Olst in there as well, JB Masida then with this next group of cars. God, they're all ganging up on one another. This is fantastic fun already. Welcome to Season 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly a way to give him that introduction to the Jettas, to the boring cars, and he's handling it pretty well, you've got to say.
Yeah.
Holding on to that 6th place car, Ridley breathing down his neck, John Bailiff as well, both experienced racers with these Jettas. So you don't really know what JB's background is with this car, but doesn't seem to be affecting him either way. A great time. Sam Van Alsten, a little bit of a pocket by himself now because of this, although I think he's been able to catch back up to that lead battle just thanks to sort of the issues that Morgan Burkhardt had dropping back, has sort of now brought Sam Van Alst into the slipstream once more.
Jake Cranstone's taking the lead of the race in the meantime as well. Dopart looking down the inside of Taylor Adams. Taylor gives him room to get the move done. Morgan hop, skips and jumps over the curb. Now Sam Van Olst says, go on then, I'll put my nose down the inside. Morgan's going to leave him very little room. Morgan does this for real, so he knows roughly where the limits of the car are, but still, the virtual guys showing him how it's done at the moment. Sam Van Olst sits right behind the independent. That also means that Taylor Adams now has the independent lead as well. Don't forget the cars with little blue stripes next to their name on the left are the independents in the mediocre cup, as we call it. Right now, Ferran Grau wants to move forward and maybe get onto the back of JB Masida. He's managed to wedge his way down the inside of John Bailiff, but that puts him on the outside for McLean's. Tries to swoop all the way around there. It's not going to work. It's been great racing so far, though. Even further down, look, Donny Alfa Henriksen and Eric Manenveld right together. Stuart Clark and Aaron Smith. Everybody in the field is having a battle with somebody else right now. This is true boring car style. And, well, I mean, it lives up to the ironic name, really, doesn't it? The cars are boring, but the racing isn't.
100%. I mean, this is as entertaining a race as you can get. Look at how many drivers are fighting for the race lead, chucking it through the chicane. Look at it in the background as well, just as close a fight there for 6th place, still held onto by the Frenchman, but now Patrick Dopart go for the outside, almost a little bit of a switchback, but parking it on the apex. Jake Cranstone, he knows how to defend in these Jettas. He's so smart with the car placement, with everything he does behind the wheel. He seems like he'll attempt to hang on for the next, or for rather the remaining 10 minutes of this race. My word, does it fly by.
It absolutely does, yeah. Just get to the halfway point right now. And Sam Van Olst, well, I mean, he could still win this race from 5th here with 10 minutes to go. You never know what will happen in the British Boring Car Championship as Morgan Burkhardt, big send up the inside into McLean's on Taylor Adams. Taylor still allowed room on the exit as well. The two of them absolutely clinging to one another. Sam Van Olst here trying to find his way through as well. And look, once that door is open, it is wide open. And now Taylor Adams is going to not just lose the independent lead, but maybe lose 4th place overall to Sam Van Olst. This is absolutely brilliant. Sebastian Schreck saying it's shopping carting, and it absolutely is. These things, I mean, to be fair, they've got the grippiest caster wheels you've ever seen in your life as Duncan Murray goes past Ferran Grau. Stephen Burns, watch him close in now from the right of shot. He's going to come crawling through. Although, actually, you know what? Ferran got a really good run onto the back of Duncan Murray there in the Might Just Fit car. He might go for this. No, Stephen Burns says, I'm going to make my intentions well clear. Flies down the inside. Great stuff from the Team Jane Fonda driver, but in previous seasons gone by, that would have been probably for a podium place, but that was for 10th. Just shows you again how competitive it is. But so far, biggest mover in the field, Ed. Are you surprised? It's Jake Cranstone. Nobody has gained more than 1 place, except Jake. He's gained 6. Everybody does say that he's the master of this car, don't they, really?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's showing it right now, isn't he? Flipping heck.
Yeah, I mean, I also am quite surprised that his qualifying performances in other series that we've broadcast, the Sim Race Magazine GT4, for example, haven't quite been there, but every single time without fail in the race, he seems to deliver. He seems to know exactly what to do to manage sort of the positions of the cars around him to take advantage. And I think that's exactly what he's been able to do today, is just see everyone else's fights and always predict what's going to happen several corners in advance and really just get those benefits as a result. Now 8 minutes remaining of this race. Jake Cranstone leading front pack. Well, JB having to go very defensive there. Frenchman once more trying to, well, force Kyle Ridley to work for this position, and Kyle's actually got a little bit of damage to the front of his car. These Jettas don't really get too affected by damage, do they? It was nearly turning him around. That was a little bit sketchy. I think it was more just a case of JB almost coming across the nose of Kyle than anything else there, but still sketchy stuff.
Yeah, I don't think JB knew there was an overlap there for just a moment. That was, pretty scary to say the least. JM Phillips in the chat asking how many races there are. There's 18 races this season, 9 race meetings. We've got 3 and then a week off, then 3 more, then a week off, and then 3 more, and then we're done. But we've had a fantastic start to the season, even with just the first 10 minutes at the moment here at Donington Park. You're watching the British Boring Car Championship on Chaz Draycott Media, sponsored by Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. And you have got the top 5 covered by less than a second. How cool is this? Look at them. There's 20 wheels in there somewhere and then 20 more in the background, and they are all absolutely glued to one another. It's fantastic racing. Great fun. A lot of these guys really do get on. And to be fair, the odd one out here, with no disrespect to him, is Taylor Adams. He's not really raced with this group before. There's a number of them that race these cars in the official races on iRacing, and also over in the Jetta TDI, sorry, the Racing Line Jetta TDI Cup. And yeah, Taylor showing that he can blend in with these boys and race just as hard. It's great to see. As it's getting nasty here. Duncan Murray side by side with Stephen Burns. Kyle Ridley down the inside of JB Masida. Two of them banging panels as they head back up the hill then towards McLean's. This might not end well.
It doesn't look like he's going to go the way he's planned it. Kyle Ridley now. I think he's going to have the overlap now up the hill. This should be where the move is done, although there's quite a lot.
Oh no, JB! JB turns in a little bit soon, I think, there. You have to aim for the apex early up there, don't you, at McLean's? And unfortunately...
Look at that, though. Look how many positions he loses just from one small moment because of how close the pack is.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? John Bailiff, look down the inside here. You can see just as they get there, Kyle was still going straight because, they didn't want to turn in at that point, really. It was a difficult one, that. A very difficult one indeed. Let's have a look from Kyle's roof. You'll see where the car ends up. JB got a great run out of there. A little bit of net code. Kyle is in Australia at the end of the day. And to be fair, even with the contact, Kyle still ends up across the apex. But these things do move around a lot on the brakes. So it's something they were warned about in the driver's briefing. As Morgan Burkhardt, by the way, has gone up into second place. He's overtaken Patrick Dopart. Let's have a look at... Oh, my God. Let's have a look at how he did this. This was down to the chicane. Anthony Guevara in the chat, stating bare facts, says, side by side through the chicane. Wow. Leave room for the elbows, boys. Goodness me. Zauer, by the way, has sent in 10 memberships to Chaz Draycott Media. Thank you so much, Zauer. Wonderful supporter of my Tower Simulator 3 content. I met him in real life over the weekend over in Rhode Island at the Flight Sim Expo, and I am ever so grateful once again, Zauer. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate the support. Don't forget, if you are here at the moment and you have received a membership, please do say thank you to him. I can see that a good friend of ours, Mike Fries, has got a membership as a result of that as well, so he'll be buzzing. Still, this is the car in 11th place, and at the front of this tiny little train is the car that's in 6th place. Great racing so far, still nice and close. It's Cranstone from Burkhardt and Taylor Adams. Those two are both in the Independence Cup. Then we've got Sam Van Alsten, Patrick Dopart completing the top 5, and then this rabble.
Yeah, this just gaggle of Jettas, all sort of nose to tail, really, aren't they, as they go through Red Gate. And towards the old hairpin they go. Any opportunities for the drivers to try and have a little sniff up the inside? JB could have thought about it, but instead aims to get a good exit up the hill. Again, it's just all about the momentum, trying to carry it up the hill. The slipstream has almost neutralised this fight to a degree. It's still battling up ahead though. Patrick Dopart trying to get ahead of Taylor Adams, and I think he's been just able to secure it. They're still going side by side actually up the crest of the hill, but I think it is now Patrick from Taylor. Sam Van Olst as well, I think, fancied a little bit of that battle, but now JB, for the exit he's getting, he's going to try and get a little bit alongside, covered off by Aaron Grau. He has to settle again. It just shows how frustrating it can be to be at the back of a long train of cars. You just can't really get that benefit of the slipstream, but further in front there's been a bit of chopping and changing. Sam Van Olst was battling for a bit there with Taylor Adams.
Was indeed, and now, as a result of having to back out of it, has lost a little bit of ground, but at the front it's still Jake Cranstone from Morgan Burkhardt, two of the guys that are definitely going to be ones to watch throughout this season. We're very, very excited to see how they get on and how consistent they keep it. There is a drop score this season. It's just one individual race. So if they miss an entire race meeting, then obviously that goes to a 0, but the other 0 still counts. So it's just one individual race that they lose all season, and it cannot be either of the last two from the last race meeting at the championship at Silverstone. So drivers need to still be as consistent as they can be. And thanks as well, by the way, to JMA Phillips for the super chat that he's put in chat as well, supporting the series. Very, very grateful indeed for the support, my friend. Thank you so, so much. Glad you're enjoying the show. It's a good old laugh at the moment. Steve Burke asking, how can we make Burkhardt go harder and get first position? Well, to be honest, Morgan Burkhardt already rapid enough, isn't he, as we go on to the final lap here at Donington Park in the very first race of the season in the CDM British Boring Car Championship. Hope you're all enjoying the show. Certainly seems like it. We've got a good reception so far. And to be honest, Ed, touch wood, before we get on to these final moments, very clean so far.
Yes, obviously we've had that little moment earlier, didn't we? I think it was between Kyle Ridley and JB Masida, but on Masida, I think we're going for on that one.
Masida.
It's that little incident, but again, more of a racing incident than anything else, and at least in my opinion. See, of course, how the rest of the season goes, but yeah, like you mentioned, so far, so good. Cranstone, though, he's going to have to defend for, well, will it be this remainder of this lap and one more?
No, this is the final lap. We've had the white flag waved by Barney.
So it will be just this lap. But look at him already going very defensive to the inside.
That's interesting. He breaks the slipstream, but costs himself maybe a little bit of speed on the exit. Is Morgan Burkhardt going to try and send it through the final chicane? He absolutely is, and nearly gets a run, but the bounce doesn't help him out. Jake Cranstone starts his season in style. He wins at Donington Park in the first round of the British Boring Car Championship. Morgan Burkhardt second. He wins in the Independents. Then it's Dopar, Adams, Van Olst, and behind them Kyle Ridley just ahead of John Bailiff, Duncan Marai, Burns and Grau gets a podium in the Independents. Then it's JB Masida, Jack Wells and Andy Fox. Ben Bennyworth has crossed the line as well. Eric Manintveld, Donny Alpha Henriksen, Stuart Clark just beating Aaron Smith to the line. And the whole field separated by less than 20 seconds after all that. And everyone made it across the line. That highlights a pretty good race for me, Ed. That was mega.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I mean, welcome back to these boring cars, isn't it? It's a great way to kick off a new season. Jake Cranstone once more proving why he is one of the best, if not the best, in these cars.
And there is your result then, as you've literally just heard it. The race finished that quickly. We didn't have to wait for anybody to do a full lap or anything. Jake Cranstone wins with Morgan Burkhardt and Patrick Dopart behind, less than half a second between the top three, less than a second between the top four. Burkhardt takes the win in the Independents with Taylor Adams second in that group. Sam Van Olst finishes fifth overall with Kyle Ridley and John Bailiff next up, Duncan Marai, Stephen Burns and Ferran Grau completing the top 10. Then we have JB Masida with Jack Wells in 12th, Andy Fox 13th, Ben Bennyworth is 14th, and Eric Manintveld in the final point-scoring position, only securing that by 7/10 of a second over Donny Alpha Henriksen. Stuart Clark and Aaron Smith separated by absolutely zilch at the line. Well, great fun was had by all there, I think it's safe to say, Ed. We've got a little warm-up session now, but what do you reckon to that? It was a lovely way to get the season underway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lovely way to introduce some of these new drivers to the Jettas and also get a lot of the sort of more familiar faces back into the swing of things, dust off the cobwebs. It was, yeah, a lovely little race. Nothing too untoward, but we'll see how the second race of the evening goes, because previous iterations of the championship or anything to go by might be a little bit more hairy.
Definitely might be. It's certainly something that's on the cards. For just a moment here, though, everybody, Ed and I are just going to take a little break here on Chaz Draycott Media. Admittedly, I am boiling to death, so I need to go and get a fan, get a drink, and Ed will be right back with me in just a few minutes' time. See you in a few. Okay, hello again everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the CDM British Boring Car Championship. This is the 4th and final season you're watching here on Chaz Draycott Media. Sponsored by Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. As you can see, the guys not taking themselves too seriously during this warm-up session. But Ed, what a fantastic first race we had there. Really clean, really tidy. More of that, please.
Yes, it was a wonderful advert, wasn't it, for the British Boring Car Championship. So the usual suspects out in front, winning as well. Jake Cranstone, great way to kick off his campaign with the feature race, 25 minutes.
Oh, no.
Well, he showed he can move up through the field. He was the biggest mover, actually, wasn't he, in that last race? So he certainly can do it, but it will probably take a lot around here to come through all of that way and win yet again, especially with the competition being as fierce as it has been already in that first race.
Absolutely, yeah. What Ed is alluding to there is that the reverse grid is 10 positions from that first result, so Jake has to do it all again if he wants to win a race, and this time instead of 6 places gained, he needs to use the extra 5 minutes to gain another 3, so how likely that is, we're not sure still.
Well, I mean, by looking at the race, it was around about halfway through when he ended up getting into the lead, wasn't it?
True.
So it took him 10 minutes to gain 6 places, so
yeah, very true.
It's doable for him, but he needs to make sure he stays out of trouble, which is something that drivers often struggle with in these second races in the features.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, that's the thing, you know, you sometimes... I mean, I was going to say, with the reverse grid, you put some of the slower guys near the front, but it's not necessarily the slower guys. It's so close in this pack that it just means that, you know, those 2 or 3 tenths that they didn't have in qualifying are made up for now by the fact they are at the very front of the grid. So it's going to be mega exciting to see who ends up running away with this one. Taylor Adams, who we have on the screen here, had a great first race of the season. He took a 2nd place in the Independence Championship, and he will be pleased with some big points there. I just want to say a big shout out to Dave Waldock. It's great to have Dave in the YouTube chat after all this time. Dave raced with us in the Might Just Fit team that Jake Cranstone just won in, actually. Back in Season 1, he was runner-up to Dennis Melcher in Season 1 back in 2020. Dave, it is so fantastic to see you. I know I still have that clip of you crashing here at Donington Park in the trailer, but we absolutely love you. It's great to have you about, Dave, and royalty almost in the championship. One of the OGs, you could say. Fantastic to see.
Yeah, wonderful to have so many familiar faces back with us here on Chaz Draycott Media. Hopefully we're all enjoying the show. We've still got one more race to go, and well, it's about to get underway very shortly as we come to the end of this warm-up session. As if on cue, these cars will vanish from our screens and we will get back underway with, well, 25 more minutes of Jetta racing.
Yeah, let's not forget this race 5 minutes longer as well, so there's a little hint of looking after the tyres involved here, but to be honest, you can really kick these cars' heads in and not have to worry about said tyres too much. It's going to be Ferran Grau on pole position then, with Stephen Burns alongside him, so it's the 2nd time we've had an independent on pole position. Duncan Murray and John Bailiff are next up, with Kyle Ridley and Sam Van Olst on row 3. Taylor Adams is alongside Patrick Dopart, then it's Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone. JB Maceda and Jack Wells, where they finished the earlier race. Same with Andy Fox, Ben Bennyworth, Eric Manintveld, Donny Alpha Henriksen, Stuart Clark and Aaron Smith. So I had a lot of pressure now on the shoulders of Ferran Grau, who is a newcomer here. What do you reckon he's got to think about now, getting down to turn 1?
Making sure that start is nice and clean. We saw actually, well, at least that inside line is actually pretty alright, isn't it, getting off the line? So it's not going to be probably just a case of one bit of the circuit being more rubbered in than the other. It's just going to be a case of just managing the wheel spin. I mean, these cars don't have a lot of power, so wheel spin isn't a massive concern, but you can still be a little bit careful with it as we get now underway for the first feature race of the season. If Ferran Grau gets a decent enough getaway, he should be able to cover off the inside in towards turn 1. Stephen Burns around the outside though. He's going to have a really nice run and should be able to carry some great momentum all the way down in towards the old hairpin.
Murray having a little bit of a wet and dry rub with Bailiff there, as they often call it, but we're side by side for the lead. Then down the hill, Ferran Grau, the independent. Stephen Burns, one of the drivers from the reigning team champions, Team Jane Fonda, right in there with them. They clearly liked white and red cars in the late 90s, didn't they? There's a whole host of them at the front. As off the road, Taylor Adams. Taylor Adams around and losing positions. Oh, dearie me, Duncan Murray is still in the thick of it. It's all just white and red blur at the front of the field. Flipping heck, pick your livery. There's so many of them close together and somehow sweeping around the outside there. John Bailiff managed to make room. Look at that there. Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone both managing to find their way through the pack as well. Jack Wells is going well up through the order. Goodness me, it's 2 by 2 by 2 everywhere we look.
Jack going Wells up in 10th place, up 2 places from where he started. Wonderful for Jack there, as he's actually going to be trying to now fend off Patrick Dopart. Patrick very late on the brakes, needs to be careful to not get on the grass as he turns in. Careful of that curve as well. It's going to send him off wide into the path of the not Audi. And then look at that, sliding his way through. Is that Andy Fox for Team Bordeaux? It is. All the way now around the outside in towards turn 1. Is he going to get both of them in one fell swoop? He's going to try for it, but 3 abreast they go in towards turn 1. It's going to end in tears for Andy as he gets pushed out wide, but there wasn't really anything that Dopart could do because he himself was getting a little bit of contact up his inside.
Yeah, I think they just glued together a little bit there, and that basically forced Patrick Dopart to go in a straight line, and unfortunately Andy couldn't get out of that one. But what were we saying before about these slow guys being at the front now? What we've actually got is one of the fastest guys near the front, followed by another one of the fastest guys, John Bailiff. This is the thing, both of these two still have the pace and the capability to drive away from this pack and win this race. Stephen Burke cheering on Burkhard, so almost namesake. Morgan at the moment in 7th place, Jake Cranstone just behind him, and leading in the privateers or the independents is currently Ferran Grau as well. So he got a podium earlier on and now finds himself in for an overall podium if it stays this way, which it's definitely not going to. But this is absolutely great fun already here in the British Boring Car Championship. 2nd race of the night. Background battle there, Patrick Dopart down the inside of Stuart Clark. He's hoping now to regain those places. Ferran Grau has got ahead of John Bailiff. I think John's had a slowdown penalty. But flipping out, the top 14 cars were separated by just over 5 seconds there, Ed. It's miraculously close. Look at them all in a line up there. As all Bailiff's gone wide, he's losing more ground. Ridley's off.
Oh, could be big for Carl Ridley there. His race going all the way, sorts of pear-shaped, not what he was hoping for. Down now into 14th and maybe even 15th as that chasing pack in behind is closing in as they get to the old hairpin. So this was Carl Ridley for just a little bit of a tap out behind.
Oh.
Yeah, brakes on the corner exit, catches completely off guard. I think that was John Bailiff.
I think it was Sam Van Olsen just went into the back.
Sam Van Olsen, sorry, yes.
Yeah, but Bailiff had just stayed out of the way for his slowdown and his teammate just swooped around him. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work out very well. Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranstone, 1st and 2nd in the other race, and now side by side round Coppice. At the top, Masida wanting to get his nose in there as well. Very experienced in iRacing is JB Masida. 5,500 iRating. These boys know what they're doing. They really do. It's side by side for 2nd place, and a big hop, skip and a jump there by Sam Van Olsen. I think he bounces off the side of Ferran Grau, and it's all somehow sorted itself out. But it does mean that Stephen Burns can break away. Look at this now, nearly 3 wide as Van Olsen goes one way, then the other. Now Morgan Burkhardt down the inside of Cranstone's teammate. That is Duncan Murray. In the other Vauxhall, not Vauxhall, might just fit car. Jake Cranstone might just fit down the inside of his teammate. No, he doesn't. Still really close, all of this. They are absolutely bumper to bumper everywhere they go. This is just a joy to watch once again, but they're backing out of it. They're being respectful. They have a very small incident limit to play with, and they have to take care through all of this. They are doing. There's a little bit of argy-bargy, but that's touring car racing.
Touring car racing and being careful, those words do not go hand in hand whatsoever. Jake Cranstone, he's going to try and sling it up the inside if he can. Oh, there's contact up in front. What did we just say?
Oh no,
Jake
more!
wasn't careful enough to avoid the accident. Up ahead of him, gets thrown off the road there by, that's one of the Nodaphone cars.
Oh, and he rejoins 14th. Look at that.
Sam Van Olst just got sideways one way and then the other, trying to hold on to it. You put the power down in these front wheel drive cars to sort of steady the ship.
Oh, Jake thought he got free. I tell you what, the one that really benefited there was John Bailiff. Watch this. John was just behind the car we were on board with, but John got away scot-free here. It was Mirai. I think Van Olst just didn't know Mirai was still there. Bailiff gets away with that round the outside. Jake just doesn't. Jack Wells nearly in on that as well. Again, that's another one we need to look at. Watch this. He was behind the car, behind the one that we were just on board with.
Jack Wells and Ben Bennyworth getting a great run through there. Ooh, yeah. Spare race overalls, please. That was scary stuff.
Let alone Team Red Ring, it's Team Brown Ring now, flipping out. That is feisty. Morgan Burkhardt round the outside at the old hairpin. Does Ferran Grau know that John Bailiff's there? Doesn't look like it. Still side by side as they head up towards McLean's. Stephen Burke is loving this progress by Morgan Burkhardt in the chat. Morgan is tipped to be one of the favourites of this season. A little bit of a touch there, as that is gutsy stuff by John Bailiff round the outside of Ferran Grau. Ferran now not just losing the lead of the Independents, but losing the lead of... well, the Independents, funnily enough, but losing more and more places overall, I should say. This is just as marvellous as you expect. There is a bit more stewarding going on in this season than there was in previous seasons, so daft stuff does get looked at. They get 5 and 10 second penalties, and for any major silly offences or silly moves, then they get put behind the driver they inconvenienced in the results, as Sam Van Olst hops, skips and jumps. Jake Cranstone, look at the opportunism there. That is what we know Jake for. That is exactly what we mean when we say that Jake is a master at making his way through the order. That was gorgeous. He might not get it done on Dopart, but round the outside in these cars, you might get the run. Ben Bennyworth doesn't necessarily do that here with Jack Wells. Cranstone, nearly. He's got his nose in front. He's might do it.
He's got some sort of ability, Jake, to see everything before it happens, which is why he puts himself in those positions, like we were mentioning, to take advantage. Now in towards the old hairpin, round the outside. Can Jake manage it?
Oh,
yes,
no.
He can, just about. A little bit of contact, though, between himself and Dopart.
And Van Olst as well. All these guys right in the sharp end of the previous season as well, hence the numbers on the cars. A lot of them, if they're basically under number 10, and that's basically where they finished in previous seasons, except for Ferran Grau, who unfortunately has just inherited the wrong number for tonight. He's actually number 22. Jake should be number 2. He's showing as number 5 in our timing software. Luckily, the 5 is not painted on the side of the car, but the number 2 is. This is nuts. And these guys, by the way, these two here, Aaron Smith and Andy Fox, are the last 2 cars in the field, but they're only 10 seconds back. Watch when we go through the chicane. You'll see the whole field here. Look at that. After 10 minutes nearly of racing, that's the entire field going through the chicane. That is mad. Stephen Burns, he's off in the distance, but Morgan Burkhardt wants to go catching up with him without having to fight any of these lot, but they're not going to leave him alone, are they?
No, I mean, they're not really keen to leave anyone alone right now, are they? I mean, look at this, side by side in towards turn 1. Sam Van Olst is going to get overtaken all the way around the outside, this time by Patrick Dopart, who's really been getting stuck into it. Taylor Adams as well. Same with Stuart. I mean, look at all side by side through there. You've got the 2 Team Bordeaux cars bring up the rear.
Oh, Andy!
Watching this fight unfold up ahead.
Andy had more than a wobble there, and now his teammate Aaron Smith is going to try and pick up on it and go through. Unfortunately, the 2 Peugeots not on for many points at the moment. Jake Cranstone still trying to make progress round the outside of Donny Alpha Henriksen. The Dane has still gained 5 places in this race. Eric Manintveld is having a belter. He's been under the radar here. He's gained 7 spots after starting 15th on the grid. Morgan Burkhardt, his effective teammate or livery mate, has done the same, but still 3 seconds behind the race leader. Fastest lap of the race last time round went to JB Masida at the back of this queue, so he's got the ability now to use the potential slipstream and go forward. This is peak boring cars already. This is the first night of the season.
Yeah, this is really been one heck of a trial by fire for JB Masida, but he's been handling it very well. In contention for a podium position, potentially going his way if he can get through on Duncan Marai, Ferran Grau and John Bailiff, or Morgan Burkhardt, but out in front, Stephen Burns continues to lead the way, although that gap has slowly but surely been coming down. I think that packing behind have started to work together a little bit, a bit of bump drafting going on with Morgan and John.
Yeah, maybe. I do love the look of that livery on this Jetta, the old RML Nissan Primera livery that was raced by the likes of David Leslie, Anthony Reid, Leroy Aiello. Some amazing racers over the years in that fantastic colour scheme. All of these done in time by yours truly back in 2020 and 2021 when we revived it for the second season. Some of the cars are from 1998, some of them from 1999, just to boost the size of the field as Duncan Murray, and Ferran Grau side by side into the chicane. That's not friendly. Ferran bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And now look, here's JB Mercedes says, thanks very much, mate. If you're going to go and do that, I'll take the freebie. Down the inside he goes. Off in the background goes Ben Bennyworth. He runs a little bit wide, kissing wing mirrors nearly as they head down into the first couple of corners. Duncan running a little bit wide. JB, great commitment round the outside. Doesn't keep enough pace though, and Murray just stays in front. What about behind them? Jack Wells now. Well, he was under attack a minute ago, but these three are attacking each other now. Jake Cranstone trying to get past Kyle Ridley and Eric Manintveld. Kyle finished third last season, only to Jake and eventual champion Henry Morse. Manintveld looks like he's gone in hot there. Has Kyle got the cut back on him? I don't think he's got enough. He now goes to the left-hand side. Eric puts himself on the inside for McLean's. That's what he wanted to do. Jake backs out of it, doesn't push through. As the two of them still leaning on each other. I'm making all sorts of noises tonight. I'm sorry, there's a tiny bit of contact. He's going to definitely have flashbacks. He can hear helicopters and gunfire as he heads up towards Coppice. You saw him though there, Ed. He got on the brakes. He knew that this was going to end in tears if he got too involved in it. And now look, now he sees his chance, pounces down the inside. They all get squeezed to the inside. They're 3 wide down towards the chicane. Are they going to sort it out? I think Jake is going to get ahead minimum of Manintveld here. I don't think he's going to get Ridley.
I mean, he's going to see if he can track out the inside, but no, definitely he's gotten Manintveld sorted and now can focus on Ridley. So that's one driver dispatch. Jake on that last lap did set the fastest lap of the race thus far, 1 minute 19.47. A couple tenths quicker than race leader's best lap and about half a second quicker than the average pace of, well, the rest of the field. Obviously that lap a little bit slower, having to battle away with Kyle Ridley and Eric Manintveld, but there is definitely no slouch in these Jettas. Putting the pressure on. Everyone ahead of him putting the pressure on though. Morgan Burkhardt still reeling in Stephen Burns.
He absolutely is. Still 12 minutes to go. Burkhardt has got that gap now down from 3.5 seconds to 2.4. Certainly making waves at the minute. Bailiff, Grau, Murray and Masida in behind as still the battle goes on back here. Manintveld now. I think Cranstone tried to get past Ridley. It's backfired a little bit. Now Eric Manintveld is on his inside. Oh my word. They get these cars so close to one another, but it's such a straightforward car to drive, but it's such a difficult car to get pace out of. That's what makes it so entertaining to watch because, you know, with no disrespect to people that may have struggled in the past, but almost anyone can drive this car on iRacing. It's such an easy to drive machine. Like I've said, you know, if it's not turning enough on the way into the corner, just put more lock on and it will go round. But it's carrying the pace and stopping it from sliding, stopping it from four-wheel drifting. That's the difficult bit. Changes up ahead as Ferran Grau and Duncan Murray get very friendly in towards turn 1. Now Masida is going to be in the front row seat to keep an eye on these boys as they head down the Craners. Duncan doesn't want to give too much room as he's still there. Look at that gap through the middle of the two of them. This is so much fun already. So much fun. And these guys all having a great laugh. And the funny thing was, we spoke about it during the break, Ed, that JB Masida was the only person to really put much in Discord after the race. And it was him saying it was really good fun. And he was the only car that really got turned around by anyone.
Yeah. It's great though, isn't it? That attitude. It's going to serve him well as very sideways there. But that attitude is going to serve him very well here, enjoying getting his elbows stuck out, getting in these battles, even if they don't necessarily go the way you planned them.
Look at the run.
He relishes a battle, and that's what you need to have, is the attitude of always wanting to go for those moves and not get too disheartened, because that's going to really benefit him in these Jettas, where oftentimes he'll get setbacks as further in front. There's a bit of a setback into the back of Duncan Murray, Ferran Grau. And going into the pit, probably to serve a drive-through penalty for an incident limit.
Yeah, they only get 12 before they get a drive-through penalty, so both of these guys there will have got 4 incident points apiece for that. That promotes a number of these guys flipping out. They're 3 wide already. Jack Wells is ahead of Kyle Ridley and Jake Cranstone, but for how long? Look at that by Cranstone, down the inside once again. Delightful racing from Jake Cranstone. This is going to get spicy though. We're going to get contact here. we are definitely going to get some form of contact. How do you boys do it? Jake Cranstone still in front of Kyle Ridley, swoops back across, massive guts on him. I don't know how they fit him behind the firewall, but right now Jack Wells somehow holding on in front of this lot. Just behind as well, we've got Eric Manintveld side by side with Donny Alpha Henriksen in the dodgy MOT car. Patrick Dopart wants a bit of that as well. Jake trying to find his way back into the top 5 here down the inside as Donny Alpha Henriksen all over the place. Dopart on the left, Bailiff on the right. I think notice Sam Van Olsen. I don't know who's where. This is mad stuff. And somehow Donny Alpha Henriksen gets out of it. Now Donny finds his nose back down the inside. It's 3 wide with Dopart. They're still 3 wide. Adams on the right now.
My word, which way do you look? They're going to be pushing each other along now in towards the chicane. Sam Van Olsen getting a massive help there from Donny Alpha Henriksen, who's going Donny Alpha Henriksen, sorry, side by side now with Taylor Adams getting barged each way. And what from Sunday? Oh my word, this is...
How did they all make it to the end of the lap?
How have they survived? How have they survived all of that? Jake Cranstone as well. We thought he'd gotten the better of Jack Wells, but Jack Wells managed to hang on to that 5th place. And now, further in front, the gap now just a second. Stephen Burns to Morgan Burkhardt. It's going to be close for the race lead very shortly with, well, just under 10 minutes remaining.
Keeping my eye on Dopart and Alpha Henriksen here. Sorry, Ed. As Adams...
Got a great little battle again, side by side. You can see Dopart, he's going to struggle on the exit. And look at the 2 cars to the right, pushing each other along. Taylor Adams and Donny Alpha Henriksen working together well. Dopart gets a little bit of a touch there with Alpha Henriksen. Unsettles both of them. Can maybe Taylor Adams take advantage of this? No. Settles in behind the 2, still going side by side up in front. They've been nose to tail side by side for about an entire lap now, and they're still going for it. Look at them now on the exit. Just finally getting it sorted.
Wow, unreal stuff. But as you rightly mentioned, it's this man leading the race, but look right behind him. Morgan Burkhardt and John Bailiff are closing in. I don't know why I thought John Bailiff was further down the order earlier, because he definitely wasn't. But it's his teammate, Sam Van Olst, that is currently in the thick of it in 9th position. You get points all the way down to 15th as Patrick Dopart comes into the pits. He must have had an incident point or 2 from some of the contact in there, unfortunately. That's put him into the pit lane with a drive-through penalty. But it is a harsh incident limit. They have to be very careful. Sometimes it's not just their own fault, though, the contact. That's where there's a bit of injustice done sometimes. But you have to really dial it back. And it keeps the racing even closer, you know. If they're not pushing the limits and taking the mick with track limits and things like that, it means that the racing is ever closer. There's a big collection of red windscreen banners behind Jake Cranstone. You've got Jack Wells, Kyle Ridley off in the background. That's Andy Fox. Foxy's still in 14th. I was just going to say, you get points all the way down to 15th, and considering we've only got 18 cars here tonight, you may as well do your best to finish the race, even if you get that drive-through, because it's only the 3 drivers that have had a drive-through so far, Duncan Marai, Patrick Dopart and Ferran Grau, that have had any form of issue. Ferran Grau is out of the race, though, apparently. I think that he had maybe a speeding penalty or something, because he came back into the pit lane, I'm afraid, and stopped in the box for 2 minutes before not going any further. John Bailiff runs a little bit wide there. Still 6 minutes left to go here in the British Boring Car Championship at Donington Park. This is season 4, the final season, and you're watching it on Chaz Draycott Media with me, Chaz Draycott, and the delightful Ed May alongside me in the box. We're sponsored by Abruzzi, we're sponsored by Derbyshire Holiday Homes, and we're sponsored by Orris Digital. As the battle for the lead ensues, Stephen Burns and Morgan Burkhardt making contact on the exit at turn 1 here, Ed.
Yeah, they're going side by side now, and Morgan Burkhardt into the lead of the race just now up the inside of Stephen Burns. What can Stephen do, though? He's going to have a nice exit. Morgan running wide, couple of wheels onto the dirt. It's going to slow him down all the way up the hill. Look at getting pushed along by Stephen Burns, who now goes to the outside, hoping to get the inside for the next one.
Oh, no!
He's getting a helping hand up the rear now as they're all in together with each other. That was Bailiff trying to give the hurry up to Stephen Burns. Didn't quite get the memo, Stephen, unfortunately, just now getting caught up in that. But John Bailiff, he's really putting the pressure on Stephen this time.
I don't know if Morgan might have gotten past with a bit of contact and he feels that he had to let Stephen go. I don't know. Yeah, the 2 of them made a little bit of contact there, but Morgan then sort of let him back through. I don't know if we'll be able to see this. Is this going to take us too far back? Yes, it is.
Sort of,
but
he keep going. It does.
Watch Morgan
tap the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, Stephen gives him a bit of a tap here, Morgan then taps the brakes, almost as if to let Stephen go and say no after you. It's like Stephen doesn't then want to take the place, and then John Bailiff, unbeknownst to him, suddenly the cars slow down greatly in front of him, and he's into the back of them. But Morgan Burkhardt now leads this race. I think now that Stephen said no thank you, I don't want the place back for free, Burkhardt's gone, alright then, Stuffy, I'm off. Wells and Ridley side by side.
I'm going.
Yeah. Goodness me.
Deep breaths, everyone.
Yeah.
Ridley and Wells. And Ridley getting one over on Wells. All the way around the outside again, using the grass on the outside. We've got a few instant points spare. Hoping that'll help him out. Does compromise his exit a little bit. You can see them all closing in. Eric Mannitveld now fancies Jack Wells' position.
How did he end up there?
On the exit, it's caught out a little bit. Everywhere you look, you're just seeing something Jetta jump scare.
I don't know how he did that. I really don't know how Jack Wells ended up being so far over to the left of Eric Mannitveld, then somehow making his way back over to the right. Let's have a look. He must have got an amazing cutback here. Look at that by Jack Wells. That is gorgeous. Lovely move back, and then they nearly make contact. And he has to get out of it. That was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And they're still battling now. Mannitveld has Jack Wells right up behind him. Kyle Ridley just in front. Mannitveld's the joint biggest mover in the field. 8 places gained for Eric Mannitveld. The 2 independents going well. Funnily enough, him and Burkhardt in the same livery, but they're not teammates, as Wells slithers down the inside. Says, I'll have some of that, thank you. And are they done? I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done here. Full disclosure, my teeth hurt in this because I'm gritting my teeth so much watching moments like this. And it just hurts every lap. Sam Van Olst says, thanks very much. Basically, in this championship, you just need to be a massive opportunist and just read the cars in front. This is epic. Absolutely epic once again. Burkhardt still leads. 2.5 minutes left to go. We should get 2 more laps, I think. Stephen Burns still holding on to second place, but with what damage after that contact earlier? Because it wasn't small, was it?
No, it definitely was pretty significant. We'll see, obviously, if there's been any lasting effects left. But yeah, Morgan Burkhardt, after having the pace to reel in Stephen Burns, has not really been able to drop him.
Thanks to JMA Phillips once again in the chat for another quid of support. Much appreciated. Glad you're enjoying the show, mate. And he's saying Jack Wells making it look easy, and he certainly is in places. He's gained 5 positions since this race started. I used to be teammates with Jack back at Beast Racing many moons ago, and he was a lovely lad and a very committed racer as well, always really, really fast. Is Eric Mannitveld still trying to find his way past Sam Van Olst? These two go back a long way in the Jetta TDI Cup and in the racing line community. And it's great to see them doing battle once again here on the circuit, back on Chaz Draycott Media. I love how close these guys can follow one another. They've got great trust in each other, haven't they? They joke about and say, oh no, it's you, and talk about the incidents and stuff that could happen, but they've got great trust in each other to fight this closely.
Great onboard shot this at the rear end of Sam Van Olst's Vodafone Jetta.
It looked like he was going to smack him
under the brakes. I thought he was going to get a very up close and personal look at that car. Meanwhile, out in front, Morgan Burkhardt again, heavily over the curbs. Not actually losing time, if anything, pulling away as Stephen Burns gets an even worse exit, and John Bailiff fancies an opportunity to get second place around the outside now in towards turn 1. It's going to be tricky, but you can carry that momentum all the way down the hill. It'll help him out a huge amount. Contact on the exit, as is, well, tradition in these Jettas.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Jetta pass without a little bit of door-to-door contact. Out all the way around the outside, Stephen Burns will then have the inside line for the next corner. John Bailiff just has his nose ahead though, and look at the confidence to chuck it through. Once more they go side by side. It takes around half a lap to get a move made in these Jettas, it seems.
Takes about a week.
In 5 business days, you will have your overtake.
Sam Van Olst, his race.
Nothing but disappointment.
Yeah, his race coming to an early end, it seems. I think Eric Mannitveld as well. I said they went back a long way. That didn't mean that it was always clean. John Bailiff and Stephen Burns' cars 7 and 8, by the way. That's where they finished last season, right amongst it. and right with each other. Just having a quick glance at the standings before we get there as well. There was only 14 points between the two, but they tipped him to be one of the favourites for this season. He nearly won the earlier race, but he's going to do it here tonight in race number 2. Morgan Burkhardt wins at Donington Park and takes his second independent victory of the night. That's a way to make your debut in a season. Stephen Burns, second place. John Bailiff, third. JB Masida, great drive up into fourth. 7 places gained. Jake Cranstone somehow still comes home in fifth, ahead of Kyle Ridley, Jack Wells, Taylor Adams, Donny Alpha Henriksen. Ben Bennyworth is going to complete the top 10 ahead of Stuart Clark and Andy Fox. Duncan Marai and Aaron Smith complete the point scorers. Let's have a quick look back here at what happened to Sam van Olst and Eric Manetveld.
Here we go, Sam van Olst.
Oh.
It's just a little bit of contact as the cars get under load, which is what sends him off into that spin. The cars always getting merged together though, don't they, Chaz, from nose to tail? We'll get a view from Taylor Adams' point of view, but the cars always get wedged together and then
it's just
sends him into the spin.
That tiny bit of contact. It was ugly, but it is what it is. But Morgan Burkhardt stamps his authority. A big thank you to Dave Waldock, by the way. Sent in another $5 saying keep up the great work. Thank you very, very much. Glad you're enjoying the show, mate. But Morgan, well, like I've said, they all said he's going to be one to watch this season. He's a real world racing driver in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Cup Challenge, whatever it's called this week, I believe. Seems like they don't want to come in. He's just carrying on. The top 3 heading out, I think, onto the start-finish straight for some donuts, although, oh, John, no. Oh, he's ripped the front end off it. What about Jake Cranstone? Is he going to do the same? These boys all have good fun. There's not going to be any There's not going to be any hard feelings about that. No Burkhardt feelings, let's say. Jack Wells has a lovely little drift in there. Somehow, Stephen Burns has ended up upside down. You're going to see a lot of this as the season goes on. That's going to make a fantastic screenshot for later. Look at this by Jack Wells here. This is part of the fun, though, of the British Boring Car Championship. You know, it doesn't take itself too seriously. We have a hell of a lot of fun. And because the suspension's broken on Stephen Burns' car, he's actually able to do donuts as if it's a rear-wheel drive car. That's absolutely amazing. That is fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Rear-wheel steering.
Reverse donuts.
Oh, well, there's a picture. That'll look great down the start-finish straight. Goodness me. So, let's have a look then at the results. Morgan Burkhardt takes his first win of the season from Stephen Burns and John Bailiff. JB Masida second in the independents, fourth outright with Jake Cranstone in fifth. Then it was Kyle Ridley sixth ahead of Jack Wells. Good race for both of those guys. Taylor Adams eighth, Donny Alpha Henriksen in the top 10. Ben Bennyworth in 10th place. Stuart Clark 11th ahead of Andy Fox, Duncan Marai and Aaron Smith, with Eric Manetveld completing the points finishes. Patrick Dopart was next up. He had a drive-through penalty. Same with Sam van Olst after his incident. And Ferran Grau was out of the race. So, oh, goodness me, we can breathe for a minute here actually, Ed, but another fantastic second race of the night. What did you reckon to that, mate? That was a good way to start the season.
Yeah, start as we mean to go on, I think. And yeah, that's certainly good omens for the remainder of this season, isn't it, Chaz? That we can have such great racing at the first time of asking, with a lot of new drivers as well joining the mix. Well, it's like boring cars had never left, is it, Chaz?
No, it's absolutely not. It was certainly an entertaining one, and I'm delighted to say that we have, for our first interview of the season, our Race 2 winner, Morgan Burkhardt. Morgan, welcome to the championship first off, and thank you very much for joining us this season. You must be absolutely buzzing with that result after so much fun racing from your perspective.
Oh, 100%. That was, I haven't driven the Jetta in probably a year and a half, something like that, and I got my start on the sim racing with all these guys, so it's good to kind of reunite with them and go door to door once again. This car, even on a track that doesn't race well, we'll find a way to figure out how to race it. So it's really, really hard, really, really tough racing, but also really clean, and you don't really find that many places, so it's awesome.
I was going to say that's the main thing, with these guys. It's so close all the time, but you have the trust in each other to just lean that little bit, maybe bounce off. There is going to be contact at the end of the day, but it just adds to the fun of it. Did you expect to be this close to the sharp end? Because it seemed like some of the other boys did.
Well, I would say the last time that we raced the Jetta was in the good old Jetta Cup days, and right up there racing with Jake and John Bailiff as well. So I don't want to say I expected it, but wasn't surprised to see where we measured up.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but those guys, like I said, we've done probably 100 or 200 races together. So it's like you said, having the trust in each other to just lean a little bit extra really makes the difference, and it's awesome.
It absolutely does, and it made for a fantastic broadcast for us to watch as well. Definitely what we want to see for the rest of the season. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight, mate?
Well, I'd definitely like to shout out you guys for putting this on for the last Jetta Cup and in the foreseeable future anyways. So really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to go out and put on a good show, and big shout out to everybody else that showed up. Jake, we had a really good race in race number 1, and then Steven, I really thought that he was going to walk away with that one and maybe steal the win away in race 2, but it was good fun.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, mate. It's fantastic to have you as part of the championship. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll speak to you next time round.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys.
Cheers. Well, Morgan Burkhardt there, absolutely loving it, as you can tell, Ed. It's fantastic to have him as a lead force in this championship already. Certainly made his mark here at Donington Park, didn't he?
Yes, he's really made a name for himself, and with great awareness of what was going on around him, he certainly looked like a seasoned veteran of this British Boring Car Championship, despite it being his first time. But I say, being involved in the Jetta Cup certainly shed some light on how he was able to be so comfortable and so familiar with the way these cars race one another, and how to drive them fast as well. In terms of qualifying as well, he's right up there. So definitely one to watch for the future.
Absolutely is, and unfortunately I have to say there's no one else wanting an interview at the moment. It seems like maybe the guys are just reassessing, but still, we hope you've enjoyed this first race night of the championship here in the CDM British Boring Car Championship. Thanks once again, Ed. It's been great fun to get this back underway. Thanks also to the sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. And thanks to all the drivers for putting on such a fantastic show and a great display of racecraft here tonight. We'll be back in a week's time for rounds 3 and 4 of the championship, where we head to the good old Silverstone, although never mind actually, because I'm told we have a couple more interviews now. The guys have realised where the interview waiting room is, and we will speak to Mr. Cranstone. Your first race in the Might Just Fit Not Quite Vauxhall. How was that, mate? Looked like you had a good laugh.
I just want to say, I just pestered Stephen to jump in the interview room because I don't think he's rarely ever has an interview, and then you dragged me in instead.
Well, collateral.
Yeah, no, speak to him after. Yes, no, it was great. It was a bit confusing because there was a lot of red and white cars, and I'm not used to being in red and white. I'm used to being in orange, but there you go. Yeah, it did fit through a lot of gaps, and it was good fun.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it, mate? We complimented some of your wonderful cutbacks and moves throughout that, and that's the thing in these cars, isn't it, really? You have to try and be one step ahead because of how similar they are. I mean, they're all on the same setup. They've not got a lot of power. You have to always be thinking ahead, don't you?
Yeah, and it's sort of, a lot of the time in a battle, you have to consciously back out of something to set yourself up for the next part, and as a racing driver, that's just not natural, but it's part of the racing with these cars, and I find that really fun.
Well, exactly. It certainly looked like you had fun out there tonight, mate, and we look forward to the remainder of the season. Other than Morgan, is there anyone else you've got your eye on at the moment? Because it seems like there's a bunch of guys that could all take wins, as we've seen before.
I always have my eye on Morgan. He's a very handsome chap. It's going to be good fun. I mean, just here for the fun of it, and we'll see what happens. Pretty happy to get back to P5 after the incident I had near the start of that race, so I'll take that, and we'll just see what happens.
Well, we look forward to seeing you for the rest of it, Jake, and obviously your usual top-end performances. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Shout out to my mum watching along in Cornwall tonight, and also Ali and Dave will watch along tomorrow, I think, just come back from holiday, and Ellen as well, of course, and anyone else that's watching along, and to you, and also Kyle's mum.
Cracking stuff. Great to speak to you as always, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon, mate, but enjoy the rest of your night, and yeah, it's great to have you.
Thank you, cheers.
Well, there we go. And it's not just a running joke, but they always shout out Kyle's mum in support, bless them, and they always make it a lovely thing to behold. So did this guy, Stephen Burns, nearly taking the win there, Stephen. You must have been a bit gutted when the guys caught up, but still good for the points and some good battles along the way.
Yeah, it's always good fun. Hi, Chaz. Hi, Ed. Yeah, I knew the minute Morgan got into P2, he was catching me, so it was just about trying to go as fast as possible. Thankfully, they dropped the rest of them, so it was just 2 people to worry about at the end.
Absolutely, and I mean, all 3 of you had each other to worry about when there was the contact up at McLean, so we covered our eyes. But what was the situation with the brake lights? Because it looked like from the outside that neither of you wanted to let the other one go. It was almost like, after you, Sunshine, after you.
I think Morgan got a slowdown at the old hairpin, and he was trying to let us all go, and nobody realised he was letting us go. And it turns out you can crash in these cars now, and you just get 0x, so it's great.
Oh, well, that's good to know, because in the past, obviously, the issue was that, the tiniest bit of contact was 4 incident points, wasn't it? So now, at least, you can have a little bit more touring car rubbing his racing, so to speak.
Yeah, I think we were chatting during the race. Did anyone actually get a 4x? Because you could hit people fairly hard and get a 0x, it seems. So
I don't know whether I'm scared or not by that information, but still, it's fantastic to have you once again, mate, trying to defend the team's championship honours. But before we go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Always have to thank the wife for letting me do this, looking after the little one, because I always get moaned at in the morning. And it wouldn't be a Jetta race without thanking Kyle's mum, so
yeah,
thanks, Kyle's mum.
That's fair enough, mate, that's fair enough. Well, thank you so much for being a part of it again, Stephen. It's great to have you, and we look forward to the rest of the season with you.
Yeah, thanks guys for putting this on. Great to be able back in Jettas competitively again.
It's a joy. Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Stephen Burns, certainly loving it, and it's great to see that, isn't it, Ed? He doesn't have many interviews, like Jake said, but straight back into the sharp end, and with a podium as well for his troubles.
Yeah, he's done really well, and actually both him and his teammate Carl Ridley have done well, both in the top 10 in actually each race, so that's good going for the team's championship as well. We'll obviously have a bigger idea on that picture later on in the season of who's going to be favourites, but so far, so good for the repeat duo of Stephen Burns and Carl Ridley.
Yeah, they certainly made their mark on the team's championship, some big points there, but it's definitely Morgan Burkhard and Jake Cranstone that we need to keep our eye on. They take a win apiece tonight in the British Boring Car Championship, and we will now leave you for the evening, but back in a week's time on the 9th of July we will head to Silverstone, but the old 2008 international layout at Silverstone that the British Touring Car Championship used to famously race on in the 90s into the early 2000s. We hope you've sincerely enjoyed the show tonight, everyone. It's been great fun putting this back on once again, and we'll see you in a week's time. Have a good night.
And look at Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1. And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They're not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps? We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranstone and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season as they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10, Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, isn't it? Hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Type finish. I think Dennis Melchett has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's a great boring car championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Potts coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Rayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.